Welcome back to the channel. Hey, in my rainwater collection video, one of the things that I was pointing out is that in the wintertime, it's really hard for me to maintain water. So what kind of a solution can I come up with? Before I even had my rainwater collection system, I actually bought a 65-gallon tank that I could put in a little cart and haul behind either my side-by-side or four-wheeler, and I could pull water out of the creek. It's wintertime, it's nice and clear, and here's the setup that I used. It's not very far down in the water, but I could put it in deeper water if I needed to. But that is a Seaflow 1100 gallon per hour 12-volt pump. It would be something that you would put inside of a boat as a sump pump. I put a plastic hose on the output, and then just to make it long enough, I have a splice. So you can see the splice is not exactly watertight, but that's not ultra critical. It comes up, and here is the tank. 65-gallon tank, and I have been filling for approximately 7 to 8 minutes at this point, and it goes pretty fast. So as far as the electrical is concerned, it's got just 12 volt, so positive and negative out. It comes up. I've got it spliced a few times because I've done a few different things over the years, but ultimately right now it's on a switch. Turn the switch on and off. Everything is really accessible right here at the battery. It's a matter of just disconnecting it from the negative side. Now everything is stopped. It is not filling the tank anymore. Anyways, I've got, once I level out, I would have a little bit, but over 50, probably 55 gallons of water in here. By being on the side-by-side, I can put the side-by-side inside of my cabin. I have a garage door on my cabin right now. It was originally intended to be just a storage unit. I've been working on trying to upgrade it over the past couple of years to make it a better livable space. So yeah, that's how I'm pulling water out in the middle of the winter. You know what, I can't make this stuff up. I was just finishing up the video where I was showing you how I was pulling water out of the creek using a 12-volt pump and putting it into a 65-gallon holding tank in the back of my side-by-side. Well, no sooner did I finish pressing pause on that video that the side-by-side started to roll backwards and went down into the creek itself. It went over about 1.5 foot drop off. And I thought, well, you know, if it does that, that's no big deal. It's got four-wheel drive. I won't have a problem. Four-wheel drive does work on the side-by-side, but come to find out, I was just in a position where the four-wheel drive would not pull the side-by-side up, especially now that it has another, you know, roughly 400 or 500 pounds of water in the back of it. So anyways, here I am at the tractor because you know what? In one of the last videos that we had, we did the rescue hitch on the front of the bumper on the tractor. And you know what? That got the boat out of a sticky situation. And I was thinking, hey, you know what? We're going to get the side-by-side out in a different sticky situation. Pretty exciting stuff. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. This is what I'm getting. Fuel pump's running. That means it's ready to start. Not enough juice. So I'm going to stop. And I'm going to show you another little unit that I have that works out extremely well in situations like this. This is called a converter charger. This particular model is made by PowerMax. This is the PM355LK. It does variable voltages and it charges batteries in a situation where you have AC power and you need to charge DC power. So I have had really good luck with using these to jumpstart vehicles, jumpstart this tractor on multiple occasions. This little unit is something else. They are extremely helpful, especially in bow fishing at night, where we use generators to generate AC power, but our lights are DC powered lights, and then you can charge batteries throughout the course of the night to either run the lights or run the DC powered trolling motors on the bow fishing boats. So that's what we use these for typically, but I have had a ton of luck using these as a jump starter as well. They are relatively inexpensive. They're not as cheap as some of the jump starters that you would see at the store, but they work well. So it basically takes 110 volts AC, converts it to 12 volts DC, a little bit more than 12 volts because it's a charger, which means that it looks at the current state of charge on the battery and it adjusts itself. It actually has 3 stages. You can kind of see on the side here that it's got the capability of doing 3 stages in a fixed output. So you could do like 13 volts, or you could do 13.5 volts, or maybe over 14 volts, depending on the type of battery that you have. Or if you want to be a little bit more conscientious about what the exact voltage is, you can actually put a multimeter on this and you can adjust this to get the exact voltage that you want in a steady state charge coming out of the Power Max. So this is good for lithium ion batteries, it's good for lead acid batteries, it's good for AGM batteries, and kind of everything in between. So this little unit right here has been extremely helpful for me. I am so glad that I have one of these. In fact, I have, I think, 7 of them, but that's because of my bow fishing. I will show you guys all of that in the future. All I have is just a pair of leads. I'm hooked to negative and positive. I'm going to put a good charge in this battery. Should last for a few weeks, but ultimately I'm going to have to change this battery out in the tractor. All right, the side-by-side actually has a hitch receiver on it. So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to take the receiver balls out of the hitch on the tractor. I'm going to put the receiver ball hitch in upside down on the side-by-side. Then I'm going to get the blade of the bucket underneath and I'm going to lift everything up and start pulling back extremely slowly, and hopefully we are successful. Let's give it that shot. What I'm dealing with. This slid down over the edge. Probably dropped off about 1.5 feet or so. Like I said, I got the full tank in the back. I might take the tank out if things get a little too hairy, but I got to try to lift this up. I got everything in neutral and I got the front wheels off the ground. All right, here's the big update. By moving the front end of the side-by-side over just a little bit to get it out of the rut that it was in, I was able to actually back it up across the creek. Now, the creek is running extremely low right now. It's wintertime, Lake of the Ozarks. They draw the water levels down, so it's basically all gravel. I have that one little hill that's about 1 foot high that I got to navigate, but I've got 4-wheel drive. It's actively working. It's not really looking that bad right now, as long as I hit in between here and there on the bank. If I go any farther to the right, kind of where you see the marks that I made with the tire, that's where it starts to get kind of steep. I don't want to hit that. I'm going to hit right about here, and hopefully we don't have a problem. Hang on, here we go. You may not be able to hear me very well because of the noise of this side-by-side, but if you ever decide to do your own homesteading, or if you ever decide to live off-grid and you don't have significant equipment and you decide to do your own stuff, consider investing in it. I'll tell you what, that tractor has come in more handy than I could ever imagine, and I am so glad that I have it. This side-by-side is extremely handy as well. All right, here is my water tank. Here is the output of the water tank. It's got a little valve on it that allows me to open and close the water flow from the tank itself. I've got a little pre-filter right here. This would make sure that any of the debris that came in out of the creek doesn't make it into my water system. I have a female-to-female water connection right here for a garden hose. Well, we had to break out a few more tools in order to get everything tightened up, and even now I have a very small leak. I'm not worried about that draining my 55 gallons worth of water. Water is on. Let's go take a look inside. This is the configuration of my water pump. You can see that I have PEX. It comes out. The hose bib is just on the other side of the wall through that insulation. I've got one elbow that comes through. I've got a small pre-filter right there, which then feeds into the water pump. When I plug the water pump in, it'll start to flow water. It comes out. This is my cold supply line that goes through the building. And then I have a secondary cold supply that comes over. I have a T right here. One end goes out to the end of this small building that I have because I have an external spigot, another hose bib out there. I can hook up a pressure washer or a garden hose and I have water that flows to the outside. The other side comes up to the on-demand hot water heater, and then it flows up in, and as long as I've got enough water flow coming through, there's enough demand, the on-demand hot water heater will fire up and provide hot water throughout the rest of the building. Here's the output. It goes through the attic space, which is very well insulated. And then the propane is right here on a 20-gallon tank. So what I'm going to do is I am going to fire things up sequentially. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to plug in the water pump. The faucet in the kitchen was on, so it was calling for hot water, so the hot water actually started to fire up. But for now, let's go over and take a look at the sink. Should be. So this unit behind me was kicking my butt today. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I went to take a video and show you guys just how it fires up and heats the water. And the next thing I know, it's not working at all. It's not igniting, nothing's happening. I had to tear into this unit. I had to clean the flame sensors. I had to clean the igniter. There is a little unit associated with the cold water intake that's a little spinning plastic fan almost that basically checks to see how much water is flowing through in order to indicate whether or not it should actually fire up the hot water. That was apparently stuck. I had to, I don't know, I had to tear into this thing, man. It was a rough evening, but got it working again. And yeah, tankless water heaters. Love them or hate them. You know, honestly, this one was kind of a pain in the butt, but it worked out. I got it. Hey, if you like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to put out videos like this on a regular basis. Really appreciate your support. Everyone have a great day.